Chloe, Sam. Michael arrived at their table and waited to be invited to sit, apparently still nursing his earlier wounds. When Sam gestured, he pulled out a chair and joined them. Did you make any headway? Sam nodded, saying nothing more. Neither did Chloe. His void of emotion felt different from Sam's, as if his character, or the character he put forward, wasn't enough. As Michael took a breath to speak, Chloe cut him off. Did you ever marry, Michael? Marry? No, I'm not the marrying kind. He looked down his nose as if amused by her question. I rather like playing the field. Children? The muscles around his eyes tensed. Then he smiled. Why do you ask? She matched his smile inch for inch. I'm curious. When a question flashed across Sam's face, he didn't ask, content to listen. Yes, we made some headway. Why don't you give us your thoughts and see if we're of the same mind? Anger flashed in his eyes, and he held his tongue. Instead, he clenched his hands together until his knuckles turned white. He wanted something as a part of this little adventure. He wasn't about to crack. Not for her, and probably not for anyone, even Sam. There are limited ways to read those verses, he hedged. You can see yourselves in them, I'm sure. You know this will be a fight. You're being awfully vague for a man who claims to know what all this means, Sam countered. I was upset. I'm willing to put hurt feelings aside for the greater good, though. He relaxed in his chair, focused on Sam as if Chloe didn't exist. So, you've seen where the text says the Grigori do not play a part in the final confrontation. Doesn't mean there's nothing for you to do. Such as? We need to find out as much about him beforehand as possible, like where he lives, works, his entire facade. You expect him to have a social media presence? Sam asked. Well, Chloe said, digging in her wallet, he has business cards. She laid the ordinary card flat on the table. Sam squinted and read, Watkins, Jury, and Terrell. Waste management? You've got to be kidding. Someone has to, Michael quipped. Seriously, if he's been here any length of time, he needs a place to perform this ritual. Then he's bought property and the appearance of a life. The basics of fooling anyone. No offense. Chloe accepted the barb aimed at her. None taken. You're saying search for an address, property records, possible connections. What else? I'll talk to my network and see if he's moved money recently, which may also alert him. Things will then begin to happen in earnest. Were they ready? Not even close. Sam made their preference clear. Wait until we have more information. My computer is upstairs. I'll be right back, and we can start to search. Before she could stop him, Sam disappeared, leaving her alone with Michael. He studied her like a math problem, finally asking, Why you? Your ancestors were far stronger. Way to pump up your quarterback. Maybe they weren't stronger. Maybe they didn't know how to carry the burden. Point taken. After all, if you put Sam back together after his ambush, you have something to work with. Neither of you look worse for the wear, if I may say so. She refused to reveal the nature of their shared energy. Barely understanding the transfer herself, sharing the information with a being like Michael didn't make sense. Thanks, I think. What's your endgame? Endgame? You mean besides helping my friend's son gain his vengeance, saving the world, and earning salvation at the same time? What else could there possibly be? So he saw this as his shot at earning salvation. A fairly obvious goal she had already considered. Something else lurked behind his eyes, though. With your long history, have you tangled with Terrell before? Not in person. Not like Sam or Henry. He bowed his head, almost as if ashamed of himself. He quickly recovered. "I've seen his handiwork firsthand, and am not envious of those who go head-to-head with him. I hope you know what you're doing." With more certainty than she felt, she leaned across the table and uttered, "I know exactly what I'm doing, old man, and I know what you're doing, too." His face turned white, and even though she didn't have the first clue what he was really up to, she had confirmation he came here on more than a salvation-seeking mission. He had personal business. "Be careful," he warned Chloe in a sinister hiss. "There are forces at work far more dangerous than me. You'll do well to keep yourself occupied with what you know and do best. I'll do the same." A warning to stay in her lane. How sweet. Should she bother to tell Sam? Would he even believe her? She issued a warning of her own. "Keep your agenda out of my way."